Hi, all my beautiful viewers. 30 minutes before 16 December, we have all received a present from the government. A new set of cooling measures has arrived! So guys, do you know why got cooling measures? Because the market is very hot now. So in case y'all haven't got time to catch up on the latest news, we are here to summarize.
The new cooling measures?
Total, there will be 3 changes to the cooling measure. So first will be the higher ABSD rate. Then the second one will be the tightening of the total debt servicing ratio. Then the third one will be the reduce of the loan to value ratio for HDB granted loans. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is a change in ABSD rate. And ABSD means additional buyer stamp duty. So if you are Singaporean or you are a Singapore PR, your ABSD will not be affected if you are buying your first property. Now let's talk about what are the changes if you are buying your second property. For Singaporean, if you are buying your second property, the ABSD rates in the past is 12%, right now is 17%, and that is a change of additional 5%. If you are buying your third property, it will be from 15% to 25%, and that is an additional 10%. If you are Singapore permanent residents, your ABSD rates is only affected if you are buying your second and third property. If you are buying your second property, it will change from 15% to 25%, and if you are buying your third property, it will be changed from 15% to 30%. So for foreigners, if you are buying your first property, second property, or third property, or fourth property, or fifth property, your change will be from 20% to 30%. Entities, your change will be from 25% to 35%, plus additional 5% for housing developers, and this is non-remittable. Right. So who are the ones that are affected? Quite clearly, if you are buying more than one property in Singapore, you will be taxed with this higher ABSD amount.
Why entities need to pay ABSD? When ABSD was first introduced, people trying to find a workaround to avoid the tax, right? People will set up a new company and buy the property under that company.
Yeah.
So that they don't have the property count.
Yeah, so they do not have the extra property count.
But they still can reap the benefit of.
Yes. Then when they sell, right,
Yeah.
they don't sell the property, they sell the entire company.
Oh.
So when you sell the company, that
Okay.
means the property go together with it, right?
Okay. Oh.
So that's actually a loophole in the policy,
Okay.
and that's why
entities need to pay ABSD.
Yeah.
But now, these entities that is heavily affected is actually the developers.
yes.
Right, their tax increase from 25% to 35%, and additional 5% if they are housing developers. And what that means, it means that it is going to be more costly for developers to buy land.
Yeah.
When it is more costly for developers to buy land, they will be more careful when they are buying any land, especially buying bigger lands, because they will be taxed if they are not able to sell all the units within 5 years time frame.
Yeah.
But that also means that when the ABSD rate increase now, they will be more careful when they want to buy any land, especially bigger lands, because there will be more units to sell, and that is a higher stress on them to clear the units within the first 5 years frame.
So do you think it will affect en bloc sales?
It definitely will affect en blocs, especially if they are bigger land plots. Who are the other people that will be affected? Majorly, I would feel that it's actually the foreigners. The increase in the stamp duties here is additional 10% for the first property. So any foreigners thinking of buying a property in Singapore, they got to factor in this ABSD of 30%, and that is very tall.
It's
Buy
very-
4, you buy 3, by the paying for 4 units.
Yeah, correct. So additional.
But I guess that is also to give Singaporeans more options, because right now the inventory is actually very low.
Very low.
Yeah. I know last year or earlier last year, people are still complaining there's too much inventory, but right now there's already a shortage and the demand is quite high.
Correct.
So that means that Singaporeans have more things to choose from, there's more houses to choose from, and you are not fighting with foreigners.
I think people who are least affected, or I would say not affected at all,
are those
who purely really want to buy their first property in Singapore.
or those who don't have a property yet lah.
Don't have a property yet, buying a first property, or intending to upgrade or downgrade from one property to the next property by having to sell first, then buy later. So you won't be affected if you are in this group of buyers. But the good thing for everyone is that I think this will dampen the market for a while. People will buy with a bit more consideration. They will think a little bit more. Some buyers might even choose to wait and see how the changes are like first. And that also means that developers will not be too aggressive in their increase of prices if the demand actually really drops. Right, so that is what it might happen.
So the next cooling measures that have been altered is the total debt servicing ratio. It has been changed from 60% to now 55%. And so what is TDSR and how this 55% will affect? TDSR is how much of the income that you can use to service your loan, basically not just like a mortgage loan, but your loan in general. So for example, your car loan, your whatever loan, credit card loan, housing loan. Okay, if you do not have all these and you are only borrowing money from the bank to finance your mortgage, to finance the house, you only have mortgage loan. And right now, the change is from 60% to 55%, which means that if you are earning $10,000, you can only use $5,500 to pay your monthly mortgage. So how this actually affects buyers?
What this means that it means that, for example, if you are buying a property that requires 1 million loan, in the past you will probably need about $7,485 of income. But right now, when it changed to 55%, it will require you to have $8,166 income to service the same amount of loan. Right? So the difference for every 1 million loan is $681. So what it really means that if you are earning the same amount of money,
you can no longer borrow
that amount of money.
So this will only affect if you are actually maxing out your total debt servicing ratio to service your mortgage.
If you are earning way more than what you need to borrow, you will likely be not affected in this new change.
I think what the government is trying to do is that it's telling people not to stretch themselves to the limit just to buy a property. So try to work within a budget, or maybe buy something even like downscale a little bit. So you don't have to really hit the full 55%. Maybe you can try to aim anything lower than the 55% rate. So at least it's more comfortable for everyone.
Everyone?
Comfortable for more buyers.
Although some might say that the impact of this will not be very huge, because the increase of income required is actually not very big. So for every 1 million loan, you just need to have an increase of $681.
But I feel that this for like salaried workers, how to like increase your
how do you even increase $600?
How do you even increase like just another $200?
Correct.
So I feel that that will be a problem if, let's say, you have been planning to get a house for the past 2 months, right? And then you are actually sitting on it, don't know how. Then right now this thing kicks in,
and you have
to change your plans.
Correct. So to anyone who are salary workers, you would actually have to think about what you want to change to. For example, if you are looking at probably 18th floor, now you have to look at the first floor. Or maybe not the first floor, because first floor usually are still quite expensive. Maybe the second floor.
So you guys get the idea. So that's total debt servicing ratio.
Okay, so for the next point.
Okay, so the third and final cooling measure, right, will be the reduce in the loan to value limit for HDB granted loans from 90% to 85%. How will it affect, right? It reduced the maximum amount that the buyer can loan previously lah. So previously when you buy a HDB, example, 50k, so you can loan up to 450k, right? So now, but just by that 5% lesser, right, you're forking out another 25k more. So it only affects for those who take loans from HDB, and doesn't really affect those who are taking bank loan. It still remains the same 75%. What impact does it have, right, for people who take HDB loans? So it's like they need to fork out additional 5% more, which 5% doesn't seem a lot, but when you convert into a monetary value, right, it's at least, based on 500k, it's at least a 25k more. So for first time owner or young buyers, 25k can mean quite a lot more than what they are expected. So have to start saving up for if you are planning to get a HDB loan. Yeah, but so for bank loan, everything still applies, 5% cash, the remaining 20% can be in cash or CPF.
I actually think that this is one of the more major change that
But do you
will
think it's
affect.
necessary?
I think it is, because looking at the HDB market right now, right,
Resale
for the
market.
past, the resale market for the past 1-2 years, due to the slower building construction period for BTOs, resale market has been very hot. But then again, on an overall market, if you just deduct or just take away the amount of young buyers that are affected by this,
I know it's a lot, it definitely will impact.
yeah, I mean, it definitely will dampen the HDB market for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
It feels to me like this extra 5% is to
Yeah, I think overall
minus off the COV.
to cool down the resale market, because a lot of COV in the market so like for buyers who still need to fork out additional 25k more just to finance the house, then they will not be able to pay the COV, especially for young buyers. 25k cash or CPF is a lot. So then it might force the sellers to really price it reasonably within the valuation range, so that if they really want to sell, for those people who really needs to sell the house to do upgrade, right, then they have to be more realistic to sell at closer to a valuation or a valuation rate, so that chances of them getting the buyer will be faster, rather than those who like just wait and see, test out the market, ask a sky high price. I mean, still have in the market, but now I think the demand is driven by a lot of young buyers cannot wait for the BTO, so they no choice have to go for resale. So this one will definitely affect the whole overall resale market. Yeah.
So do you really think that these cooling measures will dampen the property market and causes a price to drop for Singapore properties in the next 1 to 2 years?
Or does it affect you directly?
You can just leave us a feedback or comment if it really affects you or anything that you want to ask us. Then also remember to like, share and subscribe to our video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.